Hey guys, how's it going? In this video we're going to go over one worked example to show you how to do problems involving the effect of frequency on kinetic energy and photoemission. Now if you haven't already done so, check out my previous video covering the theory on this topic, and that way you can apply what you learned in that video to this one. So let's get into it. In our one and only question here, it says that ultraviolet radiation causes the emission of photoelectrons from a zinc plate. The frequency of the ultraviolet radiation is doubled. What effect does this have on A, the maximum kinetic energy of an emitted photoelectron? Well, remember, increasing the frequency increases the maximum kinetic energy. And if maximum kinetic energy is increased, remember that speed is directly proportional to maximum kinetic energy from Ek equals a half mv squared. So that means this will increase as well if frequency is doubled. And lastly, what effect does this have on C, the number of photoelectrons emitted per second? Well, remember, frequency will have no effect on this. It's only irradiance that will have an effect on the number of photoelectrons emitted per second, i.e. the photoelectric current. Part D says to sketch a graph to show the relationship between the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons and frequency. Label the threshold frequency on your graph. Well, your graph should look something like this, with maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons on the y-axis against frequency on the x-axis, and you'll notice I've labelled the threshold frequency down here at some distance away from the origin, and that's to show that photoemission will only take place above the threshold frequency, and your graph needs to show a straight line relationship above the threshold frequency, which shows us that as frequency increases, the maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons will also increase. And lastly, part E says to sketch a graph to show the relationship between photoelectric current and frequency. Well, remember we just said that frequency will have no effect on the photoelectric current, so your graph should look something like this. So if you plot photoelectric current on the y-axis and frequency on the x-axis, you should have a straight line going along the way to show that it's constant. That's all for this video, folks. I hope you found it useful. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.